Welcome to the Olympic Marine in Lavrio, Greece. Located just a few kilometers away from Cape Sounion, with its world-famous Temple of Poseidon, the harbour is the perfect spot to venture out into the Aegean Sea. Greece's Hellenic Offshore Racing Club, or HORC, will organise a new 600 nautical mile offshore yacht race, the Aegean 600. As one of the fastest growing marinas in Greece, Olympic Marine will host the participating boats and be part of this great effort.
We are very proud that we are hosting the first Aegean 600, and we are very happy that we have participants from 15 countries. We are committed as Olympic Marine to do whatever is needed in order to make the Aegean 600 to become bigger and bigger each year. We believe that the Aegean Sea is very, very beautiful and full of challenges for the sailors.
The Aegean 600 is a race designed by sailors for sailors, in which sporting challenge meets the legendary beauty of the Aegean Islands. It's the first time that the sea, favoured by poets, painters and philosophers through the ages, will host such a great offshore sailing event. The Aegean 600 has both athletic and environmental symbolism, as the event's slogan, backed by all participants, is "Let's save our seas."
Το Aegean 600 έχει ένα ιδιαίτερο χαρακτηριστικό. Όλο το Αιγαίο πέλαγος είναι διάσπαρτο από νησιά. Επομένως έχουμε την ευκαιρία κατά τη διάρκεια του πλού των 600 ναυτικών μιλίων να επισκεφθούμε περισσότερα από 20, να περάσουμε κοντά, να παραπλέψουμε περισσότερα από 20 νησιά, να δούμε τα ιδιαίτερα χαρακτηριστικά του κάθε νησιού, αλλά συγχρόνως να αντιμετωπίσουμε και τις ιδιαίτερες καιρικές συνθήκες που υπάρχουν στα διάφορα μέρη του Αιγαίου. Αυτό είναι μια πρόκληση για τους ιστιοπλώους.
The event began with a safety briefing. The seminar included instructions for first aid, safety, communication and rescue at sea. After the seminar, traditional Greek food, as well as natural Greek cosmetics, were distributed to help athletes protect themselves from the Aegean sun. Up next was the traditional skippers meeting, in which the sailors were briefed about the upcoming event and the various challenges they would face. It was held by Principal Race Officer Athanasios Papantonio, one of the best in the world in his field, with experience of 4 Olympic sailing events.
We are here in Sounio, so we are starting the Aegean 600 nautical miles race, which is really different from every other races that we know until now. So we don't have a constructed course, but we've got a long distance race. 600 nautical miles means that it's going to be a couple of days, more than 3 to 4 days for the first finisher to come and finish, crossing the finishing line. It's different because we're going to be tracking the boats. We will know exactly the position of each boat. Every boat between them, there's a handicap between them. So making some calculations, we can know who's in front and who's not.
The opening ceremony for the Aegean 600 marked the final countdown to the start of the racing. Regional Governor of Attica, George Patoulis, started the ceremony with an inspirational message.
Πρόκειται για ένα σπουδαίο αθλητικό γεγονός, το οποίο θα συμβάλλει στην ενίσχυση της αθλητικής και τουριστικής προοπτικής και ταυτότητας της Αττικής μας και προβάλλοντας σε όλο τον κόσμο ένα από τα ισχυρά συγκριτικά πλεονεκτήματα που είναι τα μοναδικά νερά της. Και όλη η διοργάνωση θα αναδείξει τη μοναδικότητα του Αιγαίου πελάγους ως ιστιοπλοϊκού στίβου.
The trophy for the winner is an impressively heavy silver cup. an exact copy of a ceramic urn created by an ancient Attic pottery studio in the 5th century BC.
Enjoy the rest of the beautiful night.
I'm Dobbs Davis. I'm the International Press Officer here at the Aegean 600. And we're here at the Olympic Marine. This is an amazing facility. All the boats are here. Everybody's getting excited and ready for tomorrow's start. Tomorrow's start will be interesting because it is in a place of great symbolic value. The Greeks, of course, have been amazing mariners over the centuries. And this start is going to be in Sunio, that is in the Temple of Poseidon. So we're looking forward to that. The weather looks good. It's going to be a little light for the start, but then the breeze is going to pick up throughout the race. And this race is an amazing course. It's going through all the islands here in the southern part of the Aegean. I think the fleet is looking forward to this because there'll be some really interesting conditions. And I say interesting because some of it will be very nice and some of it will likely be quite rough. So this is quite a good inaugural start to this race, which we hope in the future will become a classic.
Και είμαι πολύ χαρούμενος που σήμερα βρίσκομαι εδώ εκπροσωπώντας τον Πρωθυπουργό της χώρας μας, τον Κυριάκο Μητσοτάκη, σε μια εξαιρετικά μεγάλη και σημαντική διοργάνωση για τον αθλητισμό, για την αθλητική οικογένεια, για την νηστιοπλοεία. Να είμαστε έτοιμοι να δώσουμε την εκκίνηση σε αθλητές, σε σκάφη πάνω από 40 από 16 διαφορετικές χώρες, σε μια διαδρομή που στην ουσία θα αγκαλιάσει όλο το Αιγαίο, 600 ναυτικά μίλια. Μια μοναδική εμπειρία που θα έχουν τη δυνατότητα να ζήσουν αθλητές ιστιοπλόοι από 16 διαφορετικά μέρη του κόσμου.
It's going to be a nice start. We're looking forward to it.
In my personal opinion, this race has a great future. We win the race!
I think the start will be nice.
Andiamo!
The day was finally here. At Cape Sunion, under the gaze of the Temple of Poseidon, Greek god of the sea, the fleet of the first edition of the Aegean 600 gathered to set off for the start of their 605-mile odyssey across the Aegean archipelago. The participants will pass various iconic islands on a route designed by a team of sailors from HURC, who know the expectations of their fellow athletes in a race of this level. The experience of the Aegean sailing legends is clearly evident here. 38 mono and multi-hull teams set off in a gentle 7 to 9 knot southeasterly breeze, with a small upwind lap to round a buoy set just off the spectacular 100-meter sea cliffs against the backdrop of the Temple of Poseidon. The first day saw relatively light wind conditions. Atalanta 2, the Trimaran Akron Auaton, Optimum 3 Samos steamship, and Hagar 5 were the first entries to reach the scenic Caldera of Santorini, where the white of the houses blends into the red volcanic rock and high cliffs over a sea of blue, creating incredible contrasts and spectacular vistas. They continued towards the southernmost island of the Aegean Sea, Kassos, closely followed by a smaller pack, including the yachts Espresso Martini, Antelope, and Blur from Sweden. This race required a lot of preparation and stamina from the teams, which is why many of the sailors in this race prepare well in advance for this non-stop race.
Most of us have done this type of races before, and we try to learn from each experience on how we eat and how we sleep and how we drink and how we kind of do a schedule, a watch schedule on how to both drive the boat as fast as possible around the course, but also kind of not get too tired and still be safe.
The sailors have to stand watch, working in shifts throughout the day and night, and everyone has to make the most of their off-watch relaxation time.
So what's really important is to be able to relax when it's your time to relax, because what we do is we have shifts, so you have only like 4 hours to relax and you have to be prepared to be 4 hours fully on board. and you never know what's gonna happen. You know, maybe it's gonna be really heavy wind and you have to do a lot of physical work. So you have to make sure that you have really relax your body, relax your spirit, and be able also to compete in all of the kind of wind.
After a relatively slow start, the fleet will have a night of lively sailing ahead, a welcome change to help them reach the halfway point in the course near Rhodes. The next iconic site to pass was Rhodes, with its palace of the Grand Master of the Knights of Rhodes. The course then continues towards Kalymnios, the island of sponge divers. On the way, the sailors will catch the sight of dolphins and many beautiful small islands, each with its own history and microclimate. Leading the pack is Carlo Alessandro Puri Negri's Atalanta 2 from Italy, led by America's Cup skipper Francesco De Angelis with an all-star team. For the remainder of the fleet, tonight will be the fast port track, sailing past Kassos and Karpathos and around Rhodes before the wind drops off again on that corner of the course early tomorrow. Finally, competitors will look west upon the Temple of Poseidon, where the finish line marks the end of this sailing adventure. The next day at 2 p.m. local time, Italy's Atalanta 2 crossed the finish line at Cape Sugno, just 6 minutes short of exactly 3 days, after starting the inaugural edition of the Aegean 600 on Sunday. The yacht led the fleet for nearly the entire race, sailing a total of 653 miles on the 605-mile course, with an average speed of just over 9 knots. The sailors were jubilant, celebrating their win as they anchored in the harbour.
The race course is incredible race, incredible island, incredible weather, incredible mountain, incredible sea, incredible island, incredible weather, very, very nice race.
The teams coming into the finish at Cape Sugno on day 4 of the Aegean 600 spoke of the strong on-breeze conditions both last night and today on their final approach to the Attican coast. The famous Aegean Meltemi delivered northwesterly winds of between 20 and 40 knots in the final several hours of the race, which at beam-reaching angles made for exhilarating high-speed sailing last night and throughout the daylight hours as well. At 8 p.m. local time, 8 teams had crossed the finish line, with the next finisher 22 miles out, making their last island rounding at the north end of Kia. Of the total fleet of 37 teams, 23 remain on the course, racing for the finish. After all the participants had finished the race, an impressive outdoor closing ceremony was held at the Lavrion Technological and Cultural Park, where the race organisers from the Hellenic Offshore Racing Club, HORC, announced their plans for the second edition to be held from the 8th to the 16th of July 2022.
Greece will welcome you next year with the same enthusiasm like we did this year.
Some of the sailors had never sailed in the Aegean Sea before, but were more than satisfied with this course.
It was fantastic because I've been doing a lot of long races, but never in these lovely waters. They're warm waters. When you get it in your face, it's very nice. So I've never been racing in the mid before, but it was super.
The success of this year's inaugural edition, with the carefully designed racecourse, the superb racing conditions and the warm hospitality of the hosts at Olympic Marine, all contributed to strong interest in the teams wanting to return, in addition to the ongoing interest from the teams unable to attend this year. So see you in July 2022.